Hello and welcome back to Tech Town.
Tech Town.
That's right. It's season 2, episode 11 of Tech Town.
That's right.
I am Mr. Ellsberg, and this is our resident town wizard.
I'm the town wizard. Yes, and welcome to another episode. We're always here to talk the tech that you need to know to get by.
That's right. Last week we talked about energy efficiency, different ways to make your things work better for you.
Yeah, just stuff around the house. I mean, there's a lot you can do to just like pay less on your energy bill, save the world, you know, pretty easy.
Yeah, that's right. And this week we're going to dive right into how to make the most out of your vacation.
Oh yeah, vacationing. You know, vacationing has always been cool. We're going to make it even cooler.
That's right. That just happens to be something that both the town wizard and Mr. Ellsberg are genuinely experts on.
Exactly. And you know what? There's an expert time to practice vacationing. It's coming right up because this weekend is vacation week.
That's right. So students at the school of Metro East Web Academy get Thursday through Sunday off. But, you know, not only is that happening, but you got winter break right around the corner.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few different holidays after that. So, yeah, let's get the most out of it. Let's jump right to it.
Yeah, all right. With tech, man. I mean, now we're into vacationing 2.0.
That's right.
So here's how we're going to lay this out. Before you go on your trip, here's the things that you got to know.
Yep.
During the trip, I'm going to tell you the things you got to know and have. And then after the trip, the things that you're going to want to be able to look back on that trip. Right. So before you get on the trip, I mean, where do you even want to go? I mean, the world's a big burrito, so we should figure out where to go. So I found something called jauntaroo.com, and Jauntaroo is just giving you suggestions on different trips that you can make. So it's got a cool way to do it, which I think is fun. There's a million websites that say, go to these vacation spots.
Right.
But a lot of them are super expensive beaches or places you can go on a budget. You know, and so there's ways of getting at it, but this one had a cool one. So what you do is you type in your airport that's closest to you.
Right.
So this one is about flying usually. And then it has these lists below where it's got vibe, which is off the beaten path, romantic, peace and quiet. So different vibes that you like, activities, geography, whether you want beaches or mountains. And what you do is you slide up the things in order of priority. So let's say I really want off the beaten path. You drag off the beaten path up onto, I think you drag.
Click it.
Click it. There we go. Thank you. Clicking it to, drag to reorder. So I want off the beaten path. I really like mountains. I really want some active outdoors, some party nightlife, and local culture.
Perfect.
Vacation.
So do you want to go to government camp?
Government camp and Mount Hood, yeah, for way little money. So let's say I only got $500. You know, where am I going to find something like that?
Let's figure it out.
So we've got calculating matches. Wellington.
Wow.
Wow. Is that in New Zealand?
Holy smokes.
Verduno in Italy. Croatia. Edinburgh. Andalusia. Rio de Janeiro. Wow. So if somehow I can get what I want out of these spots. So you can click on it. It says why, you know, it matches what you like. It says what it's best known for. And it says how to get there and some travel things. So I think that's just kind of a fun one to see.
Awesome.
You know, based on these different styles, what would I like?
Very cool.
All right. So another great couple sites to visit are the actual state government websites for traveling in Oregon and Washington. Just Oregon and Washington have a ton to offer. You can check out all the Oregon beaches, and their websites are pretty good because they're kind of the website that Oregon puts out to say, hey, the rest of the United States even. You got to come to Oregon to see all these cool things.
Right. And a lot of times you'll see on Instagram, people put hashtag travel Oregon or hashtag experience WA.
Yeah, experience WA, and that's the website, exactly. I don't know why they like WA so much. Okay, and speaking of Oregon and Washington and road trips, road trip is a good idea, and there's a lot of helpers out there to help you go on a cool road trip. So one that I found is called roadtrippers.com.
Sweet.
Let's check it out. So what this is about is if you want to have a road trip, you can kind of choose a place on the map. That's a good place to start. And so we say we want to enter Portland, and I want to end in San Francisco. And I say go. Oh, there was a problem, obviously. Get it together, buggy website.
Portland, Oregon?
Portland, Oregon, probably. Okay. San Francisco, probably.
Space.
Oh, okay.
Whoa,
okay.
Boomtown.
So it gives you obviously a map.
Yeah.
But it also, what I think is cool is it gives you different like food and attraction sort of views on that map.
Right.
So you say, I want to see the attractions, and you can zoom in. It shows little dots.
Oh, cool.
So let's say, by the side of the road, I'm all the way down in past Salem, down here. There's photos of the things that you might want to do. There's lots of dots. So you can even go down there and narrow it even more to certain kinds of destinations. But I like that it shows you how close to the freeway it is.
That's great.
Because really on a road park, most of the time, or a road trip, you want to just find something that's, not too far off the beaten path. So it's nice that it gives you little dots. And it's, it can actually plan an itinerary for you.
Right.
So on the right side of the screen, if you add some of these things, you say add trip, it'll go over there and tell you how to get there, how much time you might want to take. You can save your trips, print the itineraries, share them with people.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's a really good companion. It's got even the music, the entertainment and nightlife section.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's even got the phone apps to go with it, so you can use it as you're going on the trip.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check out a road trip and plan it that way. There's for airplane tickets. Okay. There's a zillion websites that help you book airplane tickets.
Right.
And, there's Expedia, there's Travelocity, Priceline. There's like too many.
Yep.
So I'm just going to recommend a couple just because I don't really understand why there are so many. And I just want like one, and that's cheap and good to like easy to use.
Right.
So a couple of them I think are actually pretty good to easy to use are Kayak.
Yep.
Kayak.com has one.
And there's
Hipmunk.
Hipmunk.
It's pretty cool. What it does is it helps you prioritize. I remember what they call it, but it's like distress factor. You want low. So it understands about layovers and about like early in the morning flights, or maybe sometimes you do want red eyes or don't want red eyes. Right. So it has a way of ordering it where it's still pretty cheap, but also like doesn't make you do anything too crazy.
That's really nice.
And that's pretty nice.
Because a lot of times when you're traveling, that stuff can really stress you out. Or, make or break the trip.
Yeah, exactly right. Having to spend a whole night and then miss a flight, or having too short of a connection is another one.
Yep.
And then last I mentioned Google Flights. So Google has a flight search, which is kind of cool. There's a couple cool features for it. The thing that I thought was actually interesting is it says, this section here I'll show you, it's called Destinations for You. And what it's thinking is that these destinations were actually picked based on my activities on Google.
Wow.
So for some reason it thinks for specifically me that I want to maybe go to Boise, Denver, Chicago, New York, Montreal, I don't know, or Seattle or Los Angeles, I don't know,
That's
whatever
really
it's
cool,
trying to think.
Yeah.
So in one way, I think it's, not quite personalized enough. And another way, it's like, wow, okay, at least they're trying to figure out where I might want to go.
Right. It looks like one of those tools that maybe is not honed or dialed in.
Yeah, they do. They're right. They do have a couple other features that I thought were pretty cool. One of them actually is that even in Google Maps, if you go to just regular Google Maps and you search for directions, I noticed there's a way to expand it a little bit, and you get bicycle directions.
Yep.
And you get airplane ticket links right there. So you can just say, I want directions from Portland to New York, and click on airplane, and then right then it'll kind of jump you to Google Flights.
The ease of use of getting flights is unmatched.
Oh yeah,
really in Google.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing mentioned about flights is always remember Southwest Airlines doesn't sell their tickets through any of these things.
Right.
So make sure to check out Southwest.com's website for Southwest prices, because maybe they have the cheapest ticket, but they won't show up on Google Flights or Expedia or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Southwest is a good company to get those cheap flights. Yeah.
Okay, a couple other ways you can get out of town, pretty cheap, is buses. So there's a Greyhound bus, but there's also Bolt Bus. Bolt Bus is new in the last couple of years in the Northwest. It had actually been on the East Coast.
Right.
But for the Bolt Bus, if you book your tickets early, their original thing was you can get a seat for $1 and go to like Seattle, Vancouver.
Even says it right there. Bolt Bus features $1 fares. And so they have the same thing, like you said, on the East Coast. They got Super Bus over there. And I've done that, and it's really nice. You can literally book a ticket on your phone and then jump on the bus 5 minutes later. Which is just, wow. And
it's cool. And the way that they get their prices so low, and not only that, their buses are actually pretty nice. You can see they have like Wi-Fi, extra legroom, plugins, so you can charge your electronics. And it's like pretty comfortable and pretty nice.
Right.
They just don't have any set stations. So you really just get picked up on a street and dropped off on a street, and that's totally fine. And they have storage for your luggage and everything. So and just traveling to Seattle, Vancouver, I think they go to, here, let's check it out. In the region, it's the West Coast. You can go from Portland to Albany, Bellingham, Eugene, Seattle, and Vancouver.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very
and theoretically for just $1. What happens is the later you book the tickets, the price will go up a little bit.
Right.
So usually you can get a price for a ticket to, let's say, Seattle for about $15 to $20 if you schedule it pretty early, but it definitely can be cheaper.
That's right.
So check out that Bolt Bus.
Very cool. It's a very cool tool, especially for somebody that maybe doesn't have a license yet, and then is traveling on a budget. That's great.
Exactly. Yeah, for $1, I actually took it. I happened to take it. I think it was on the second day it opened from Portland to Seattle.
Yeah.
And I got it early enough that I got the $1 ticket, and so I went from Portland to Seattle and back, paying a fee of $1, which means a total of $3.
Wow.
I couldn't even believe it.
That's insanity.
People on the bus were cheering. So that was fun. Okay, so another, just a couple little, if you're going to go on a trip, what you might want to use to plan the trip. There's a good website for Scenic Drives. I think it's called myscenicdrives.com.
Right.
It has a bunch of pre-planned scenic drives. So you, for example, they have the Columbia Gorge. Let me show you guys that. The Columbia Gorge has a nice scenic drive that I don't know who writes these. I guess it's just the people who make the web page. But it has just the gorge itself, but specifically about the driving. So it tells you which state parks you should drive through and maybe stop at. It says a lot about the freeways and how to actually drive around. And then on the top up here has a few facts about that, and then you can download the map or send it to your phone or print directions and everything. And so this is more of just if you're out for a scenic drive.
That's right.
And then a bunch of packing apps and apps I'll get to a little bit later too, because there's plenty of apps for everything.
Right.
But there's one specifically for packing. They had packing lists, make sure not to forget your phone charger and your
Those are huge
contact
because you don't want to get all the way around the world and then realize you forgot your passport or your nail clippers. Gee, come on.
It could be awful. I mean, if you need to clip nails or prove your identity.
Oh man, it's rough.
So and speaking of going around the world, the power plugs from around the world. I think that's interesting. If you've ever gone to other countries, some of them have different power plugs.
That's right.
So the normal 2 or 3 prong plugs that we think just work don't work. You got to get adapters and things. So I've got a list there. If you type in the country, if you find the country you're going to, it'll show you which power plug you got to get.
That's right. And they have different tools where they have multiple different plugs that you can, get for your American, made.
Exactly. Because you got to get your tech working when you're out there. I mean, at this point, you don't want to spend all your time on the tech, but you might want some help. Okay, so and a few more travel guides. Just there's companies that do travel guides.
Right. Lonely
Planet is a big one that used to make or still makes these books, but now we're in the tech world. So there's one called virtourist.com. It's like little virtual tours of different places around the world. That's pretty cool. It'll kind of show you some pictures and specifically talk about tours that then you could go and actually go on. And then Wiki Travel. I thought Wiki Travel was cool. It's a wiki, so anybody can contribute to it. But it also has things about customs and how not to be rude and just things to watch out for. Some good things you don't want to necessarily offend people by doing the wrong thing. Sometimes you think you're shaking hands properly and it's actually really offensive to a different culture. So even just
the way you're eating or drinking or basically just how you're holding yourself in public.
Yeah, and so that's kind of cool to learn the things just to not do the worst thing ever in front of your guest or your host. I mean, okay, so you planned your trip. Maybe you road trip and maybe bought your tickets. Maybe you got your guidebook ready to go. Now you're going on the trip. Here's a couple things you might need. Number one is solar chargers.
That's nice.
So to charge your electronics, because you might be using your GPS, you might not have that power adapter. So I gave a link. If you look in the description below the video and our show notes, I have a link to Amazon. They just have a bunch of good, well-reviewed solar chargers, and those little solar panels. Right. You plug it into your phone, it charges it.
I know that we both have one, and they come in the clutch so many times.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice to have.
Absolutely, because, sometimes you're just out in the woods or something, and in the sunny woods, I guess.
Yeah.
And it is really nice to not have to use a bunch of different batteries or whatever. So
yeah, even if you just want to take pictures with your phone, that's probably the biggest thing that you'll probably do.
Yeah, exactly.
With your stuff in your
or for emergencies. You're gonna want to have a way to make a call at some point in an emergency. It's good to have at least a little way to charge.
Yep.
Okay, so then there's a bunch of people made lists of travel apps. So I have a bunch of links. You check them out. There's a ton of them, and they're for a lot of different cool things. Whether it's finding places to eat and hotels to stay at or hostels to stay at, or just attractions or whatever. Or just, all sorts of a million things. Check them out. They're pretty cool. I also thought that there were a few translator apps included in that, which are cool. So if you're traveling to a foreign country that you don't speak the language or don't speak it very well, there's amazing translator apps that you can either type and it will translate, you can talk into it and it'll translate, or you can even put it up to a sign and it will image recognize the letters and even put over it the translation of those letters.
Incredible.
So it's like the future, because we have this lens of a translator.
Yeah, that just blows my mind.
Yeah,
it can happen at this point.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's the full thing where you can talk into it. It translates into Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, let's say, and it can speak it out in Mandarin. It's like this magical translator. So pick one of those up. There's some free ones even. And then obviously Rick Steves, his picks on travel apps. So Rick Steves, if you haven't heard of him, is the ultimate travel guide.
That's right. He's got his own show on PBS. He's also from Eugene. He's an Oregonian.
Oh yeah, he is. So he has some great suggestions on apps and things to help you get through your travels too. I have those in the notes there. And then also during your trip, you're going to maybe want to make some phone calls, but over the internet. So if you actually are traveling, your phone may or may not work. You may or may not have to pay more to get roaming service or whatever it is. So what's nice is if you can get internet, so if you can use your Wi-Fi of your phone, or you have a laptop and you can use Wi-Fi or plug it in or whatever, you can use internet services like Skype is a good one to call other people. Maybe you could call their cell phone, but even better if they have Skype also, you can just Skype with them. So I recommend Skype. There's obviously some issues with it, but it's getting better and it's more reliable now. So and it works on a lot of different devices. Also through Gmail and Google. Gmail lets you call people's real phones for free. So if you go into Gmail, there's a little phone icon if you have it enabled. I have a link to show you to make sure you know how to enable it. You type in a person's phone number, press call, and it will use your computer's microphone and speakers to call their real phone number for free. That's
a great tool. I use it here just for calling students.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely check that one out. That's a great tool.
All right. Okay. So now you've done your trip. You've charged your phone. You've seen a bunch of cool things. You've used your apps. Now you come home and you want to reminisce about the trip. You want to make sure you got all your photos in one place. Maybe your friends have some photos. So a couple of cool ways to deal with all that. Number one is called Google Photos. I think that's what they call it now. Google has had a lot of photo services, and now this is, I think, the latest one. And it's actually really cool. So it will back up and store all of your photos in full good quality. It will, I have the list of all these features it does. It does enhancements, so it'll like brighten things or make things look a little better or do some filters. You can crop them and edit them, all the kind of editing tools. And then it has a couple extra features that I think are extra cool. Number one is Auto Awesome. So Auto Awesome is they have some effects that they think are really cool on certain pictures, and they'll apply them automatically.
Yeah, so I've had one where I took a picture with snow, and then it put in this snowing,
Yeah, exactly. It will like GIF, make an animated little snow thing out of snowy pictures. If you have a bunch of pictures in a row, it will make a little animated GIF out of them, sort of thing. That's cool. It looks like a little sort of video thing.
Storybook.
Storybook, yeah. Actually, Storybook is a
flipbook, I should say.
Yeah, flipbook. Yeah. But Storybook is a good point because they also have a really cool feature, which is it'll take pictures that it knows are taken around the same time and basically on the same trip, and make a nice little video storybook out of it.
Wow.
Sort of an animated little experience.
That's cool.
And so it'll put your photos in little frames. It'll crop them in cool ways, have animations. So not only do you get free photo backup storage and all these other little editing features, it gives you a little storybook of your trip, which is really cool.
Very nice.
Another thing you may want to do with photos is share them with a group. So let's say you go on a trip with your family and you have a couple different phones or cameras taking pictures, or maybe not, and you just want to share all the photos together. So there's one called Cluster I found, and it's cluster.co. I have the link to that website. And there's actually a ton of apps and websites that do this, and I have some suggestions, but there are definitely good ones that understand that people want to share photos together, which is nice, so that everybody can kind of put them all in the same place. You can go, everybody can download them, and there are a lot of them for free, which is nice. There's another photo editor online called, it's from Pixlr. So it's the Pixlr photo editor. It's a really pretty good photo editor just on the web. So just using your browser, you can edit photos in way more advanced ways than just like the brightness and stuff. It's like paint on the computer. You can kind of draw on it or move things around or whatever. And then another one is, so sort of like I was talking about with the Google's photo story books or whatever they call it, where it makes a little nice video package out of your trip. YouTube has the ability to do that too. You can use YouTube's video editor and throw in some pictures, throw in some videos, and make a nice YouTube movie of your experience, which is always fun. It's nice to be able to just send out to your friends or whoever went on the trip, or maybe people that didn't, just a nice little video. And we've done that, I know, on trips that we've been on, or our friends have done that for us, which is even better. Get your friend to do it for you.
No, and that's something that when you have something tangible after your trip, it's so cool to be able to go back to it. And,
put some nice music to it and everything. Another one is TripAdvisor. That website has one called TripWow. It helps you make a whole storybook thing. But what's cool about that one is it really knows about the locations of places and will show things on a map. So it will show a little airplane going from place to place, the places that you went, and then show your photos, like, you know, Indiana Jones style or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
And then speaking of tangible things, you know, every once in a while you actually may want a physical, tangible photo. And so a great way to do that is these photo book services. So there's a lot of different ones, and I found a link to someone who reviews all of them. There's a million of them, that they'll take your pictures, you upload your pictures to them, and you can either have it kind of automatically make a book, or you can choose how to make the book, and then you tell them to print it, and they print it into a real book, and they send it, and you have this book, and you put it on your coffee table or wherever, and people can actually see it.
Trip of a lifetime. You got it there forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it is nice sometimes. You know, we have all these digital pictures, and it's nice to be able to put them as your background, or, you know, look at them every once in a while, but having a real book sometimes is pretty nice.
There's so many ways to make your trip possible and to make it the best possible trip for you. So, you know, get on there and then use some of these different apps and go ahead and check. You might not even think that you have enough money to travel, or you might not think there's any reason to go out and travel. These are different ways to help you maybe get excited. Getting out and about.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally true. I mean, a lot of times you may think you don't have the money to travel because you've got to buy plane tickets, whatever. If you book early enough, you can get a bus ticket for $1.
Right.
$1.
$1.
You can find the really local cheap eats. And so definitely our challenge to our townies, tech townies out there, is go on a trip, try some of these things out, you know, maybe plan the trip using some of these, see what works, if there's any apps that you think are helpful for you and really tell you exactly the right things. Or if they're just bad and they're giving you bad suggestions, it's good to know about that too.
Right. Once you get outside your comfort zone is when the magic happens.
It's true, yeah.
So get out there and put yourself in some situations that you haven't been in before.
Oh yeah, get crazy.
Traveling is an easy way to do that.
That's a good point.
All right, so that brings us to the music side of the week.
Nice. All right, so this week's music side of the week, which I don't think will get taken down for copyright violation, I hope, is the number pi being played on a piano.
Okay.
So, you know the number pi?
I do.
Well, so this guy assigned numbers to each of the notes. So he said 0 is that one, 1 is that one, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. And then he's just doing an intro right now, so hold on a second. And with his left hand, he's adding little harmonies. Here we go. Now, with his right hand, you can see 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2. So,
wow.
Yeah, you can hear pi. Yeah, so
that's pretty
maybe
cool.
There's something weird and mystical about this music that's actually circular
properties
or something.
Man, that's some legit. So you can smell pie, you can see pie,
probably.
you can hear taste pie, and now you can hear pie.
Oh yeah, taste pie, yeah. It's true. Man, so I don't know whether there's, you know, secret aliens being summoned by this this music, but then they also have cool facts about pie, which is nice. So yeah, check it out, listen to it, and I don't know if you ever heard a number before like that.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. This brings us to Mr. Ellsberg's Song of the Week.
Okay. So this week I've got a really cool travel app that I've actually used before.
Oh, nice. All right.
And this is called it's one of a few apps, but the ones that I've used on here is called Postagram. And then what you can do is you can take a picture and then you can send a postcard to somebody back home.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's an app for your phone. And so you download the app, and then I think it's like, I think it's like a 25 cents per postcard or something like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They will send a postcard from a photo of your phone. All you have to do is put in the address and then click send.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That easy.
Right.
It's so cool.
And postcards are great. Postcards are, kind of a nice personal way to do things, and especially if you get to take the picture.
Right.
And then, like I said, like a physical thing is nice to get. So I bet, your parents or your grandparents especially might want to actually get a real postcard.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on a trip, if you send something like that that's tangible, comes in the mail, and then also has a little thing where it will pop out the picture of it too, so you can remove the picture and then just have that there. But yeah, you can make a nice little message for whoever's not on the trip with you. Say, in your face, I'm not on the top of the life.
That's right, I'm gonna make in your face. Deal with it. All right. So excellent. Yeah, I'll have to try that on my next trip.
That's right.
All right. So which brings us to the security segment of the week. All right. So this week's security segment is on smart locks.
Smart locks.
Okay, so smart locks are locks for your door
Right.
that are connected to the internet that you can unlock with your phone or your tablet or whatever.
I like this.
So the idea is good, which is I don't want to use these keys, these old keys anymore.
Right.
I want to use
keys.
Right. I want to use the internet
Yep.
to unlock my door. So there's still problems with it, both security problems, just like they're not necessarily the easiest thing to use. Sometimes you have to change your door whole knob, maybe sometimes, or maybe not.
Okay.
But the idea is good, and we're getting close. So this website, this Wired article reviews different kinds. There's the August one, which is $200. The Lockatron is $179.
Wow.
The Lockatron is kind of cool because it goes over your existing deadbolt.
Oh, nice.
So you can not have to change much. You really just kind of stick it on there, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, they're still pretty expensive. Most of them are in the kind of
Right.
and so I'm not happy with that. But just keep your eye out.
Right.
Next couple years, I bet they're going to get easier. And especially if you're ever building a new door or getting a new doorknob, think about these things because it may be really nice to be able to do that with your phone rather than your keys.
One less thing to have to carry. I mean,
Exactly.
we are on our way to carrying nothing but a phone.
I know, that's the idea. And maybe the phone will even be in your glasses. So
carry nothing?
Carry nothing.
I'm into it.
All right. So we're getting there. All right, so that I think wraps it up. And the lock, you want to make sure to lock the door using Wi-Fi when you're on vacation.
That's
so even a nice little tool while you're on vacation to stay safe at home.
That's right. And so finally, all things vacation, get out there, enjoy yourself on this vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a little bit of time to set up something for winter break if that's what you're into. We got some pie on the piano, and and then we got the postagram. So
yeah, exactly. And use those smart locks and have a good Thanksgiving.
that's right, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next week here at Tech Town.
All right, see ya.
Okay, bye.